So last week tonight came back on HBO and John Oliver did something funny, but I wish it actually could happen. He offered Clarence Thomas $1 million a year in a luxury motor coach RV, electric RV, to resign on his post on the Supreme Court. It was very smart, very funny, but he's absolutely right. Would Clarence Thomas do it? No. He got all these rich dudes, man, in his back pocket. Like, he's not doing anything. But this brings up a good question about the Supreme Court. It's fascinating that in our country, there's term limits to be president of the United States. But the Supreme Court is a lifetime appointment. As we're talking right now, a bunch of people probably just got laid off. Wait a minute. Yep, there goes another one. People lose their jobs all the time. And if they're doing a great job, they get laid off. If they're doing a poor job, they get laid off. People just get fired or released all the time. I never really understood why the Supreme Court is a lifetime appointment in 2024. The first Supreme Court came together in 1790. The average life expectancy of people back then was around 65 years old. So back then, if you say, okay, well, you're sitting on the court for life, that might be 20 years maybe. And then people killed over and died. In some ways, maybe that's why they made Social Security at that time, 65 years old. So the government wouldn't pay for it. Because if people were expected to die around 65, the government doesn't have to pay anything. So you're sitting there at 62 saying, oh my God, look at this Social Security. And then you're dead. And then the government still keeps your money. But that's a whole different thing. But in 2024, why aren't there term limits on the Supreme Court? Clarence Thomas is 75 years old. 75. Now, I'm not for ageism. Like, if you are young at heart and you got a lot of energy, like, you should be able to do what you want to do. So I'm against ageism. But at the same time, what purpose does he serve being a 75-year-old man on the Supreme Court? And it's not just him. Like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like, she was there forever, too. Like, everybody should not be on the court forever. There should be judicial reviews. I don't know who would conduct this, but every 10 years, if there's not term limits, you should be brought in front of Congress or whomever, and they go over your record. And if they feel like, nah, man, we found out you've been bought off by folks, you got to go. Why aren't there judicial reviews when it comes to the Supreme Court? They're not gods. They're just regular folk. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a conservative person or a liberal person. This isn't the point. I think in our country, most people are either middle right or middle left. Some people are far right, people are far left, but the masses of us are either in the middle and we lean conservative, or we're in the middle or we lean left, which is fine. We all shouldn't be the same, but I think most people are straight down the middle. But unfortunately, our court is not like that right now. It's leaning really far right. And that's not good for people. Like, some of the things that they judge is kind of like, yeah, this isn't going to help everybody. This might help a portion of the country, but it's not going to help everybody. So I think when it comes to the Supreme Court, there should be term limits. If there's not term limits, there should be some type of review where you have to go in front of people and talk about your record. And most importantly, we got to start choosing people who are the top lawyers and judges. Enough of going to these Heritage Foundation or whatever. It's like, oh, this think tank, screw that. Whoever are the top 2 or 3% judges, or whoever the top 1 to 3% lawyers, you're put in a bowl, you get interviewed, and you get the gig. You get the gig. Unfortunately, and it's been this way for a long time, but still, the top lawyers and the top judges should get that gig. Clarence Thomas did not deserve to be on the Supreme Court. He came after Thurgood Marshall. Now, again, some people debate Thurgood Marshall, and sometimes people look at some of the things he's done and they don't like it. But for the most part, he was a pretty liberal-ish type person. And they just, when Herbert Walker Bush, I think, appointed him, they went far right with Clarence, and they basically told Clarence, your job is to sit here and just vote everything conservative. Even John Roberts has some leeway when he votes. Like, he leans usually to the right, but sometimes he goes left. They basically told Clarence, we put you on here just to be conservative. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing. And then when that wasn't cool, he started piping up about, well, we don't make enough money on the court. All of a sudden now, he has all these rich friends helping him out. That's not cool, bruh. Like, you shouldn't be bought off as a judge. That's like mob mentality stuff. And that's not helping us any. So John Oliver, kudos. Even though it was a jokey type situation, he actually had a contract for Clarence Thomas to sign. Like, hey, man, I will give you $1 million a year. Oh, man, my color's fading. I look weird, like a ghost. I'm giving you $1 million a year and this luxury motor coach just to get off the damn court. It is smart. Will it happen? No. Should it? Yeah.